Where does the name Low come from?
Loyalty over everything. That's my name.
Okay.
You know, and it started back in high school, man. That's what, I don't even know, over 11 years ago now. We used to go as CTV, Chris, Tim, and Val. So shout out to my brothers, Tim and Val. We had to get something better than that, man. And, you know, we were always known as a loyal group of friends to each other. And they say, hey, why don't you start going by Low? Mm-hmm. And Low was born, and it couldn't just be Low. There was too many of them out in the world. So I had to do something that is unique to me and put Badgett at the end of it, which is my last name.
Yeah.
Not too many people had a last name Badgett,
yeah.
So Low Badgett, and it stuck, and, you know, we're here now.
Is that also where the name The Loyals comes from then, for the production company?
Yeah, well, I had to make it The Loyals for the rest of the company, simply because, like I said, it's too many loyalty over everything's out there. So I'm like, we got to do something a little bit different. I actually loved the movie The Warriors growing up, so I was like, man, let's, you know, try to play off of that with the logo, the font-wise. And I said, let's just come up with The Loyals. Well, actually, my uncle, he said, why don't we call ourselves The Loyals? That was actually a play off of the Royals. Excuse me, the Royals. Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
And so you're from Harrisburg originally, right?
Yeah, yep. I was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Ralston Street, Pennsylvania. We relocated to a place called Chambers Hill, small place out in East Central Dauphin East area. And, you know, so both of them, but yeah, Harrisburg overall. Yep.
Okay. And just tell me when you got started making music. I mean, how old were you when you started, and then when did you kind of really get seriously into it?
Yeah. How old are you when you're in like the 6th grade? What was that, 12, 13?
Yeah, something like that, I guess.
Yeah, like 12 or 13. I remember my dad, shout out to my father, Lumberjack Blackston. He used to go by Mr. Blackston. He was actually in a video, Too Raw for the Streets. It was actually shot at the Music Man we were just talking about before we, you know, started recording. And he came home with the DVD. He actually battled Shellyano. And that battle was just so huge, man. I mean, his video alone did, I don't know, probably by now 2-3 million views on YouTube. And just watching that, it just sparked a interest and a love for music and hip hop for me. It was right around the time, I believe, Lupe Fiasco had dropped his first single, Kick Push. And, you know, I was off to the races. I fell in love with it after that. And I was trying to create, wasn't as good as what we are today, but, you know. Yeah, I was taking a swing at it. My father was shaping me and molding me to become, you know, the MC that I am today.
And so did he also grow up around here as well?
Yeah. He's also from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yep. He's also from the city.
Yeah, like I said, I watched I thought that was really cool how, you know, this is, you know, sort of a family thing. Like your dad was into this. Was he releasing anything himself? I mean, was he doing, I know he was doing freestyle stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
I mean,
battles and stuff, but.
Yeah, my father, man, he's a Harrisburg legend, man. I mean, he's I believe either a 3-time Philly Blaze champion. He's been Lyricist of the Year here in Harrisburg back whenever they had the old awards, I think 2 or 3 times. Album of the Year a few times. My favorite album from him is called God's Entertainment. He had some clearance issues with it, so it wasn't able to go mass, but it was a very, very good project, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's I believe we are the first good father-son duo, actually, you know, father-son duo in hip-hop history.
I think
I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah, well, I love it. I mean, I imagine that was something that you guys, that made you close, like that you bonded over and stuff like that. You can talk music and talk about who's, you know, like what's happening in music right now and stuff.
The first thing that we did bond over was music, you know, and our relationship grew from that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's something that definitely brought us closer together, and I've always strived to be better than him. I think, like I told you before, you know, 30 now, I think I'm there now. You know, yeah, he can hang it up.
I had to ask if you guys have ever battled each other.
He won't battle me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not because I'm better than him. He refuses.
He just doesn't.
He's cocky. He's cocky. He thinks he'll destroy me, but nah. This point in the game, I know a little bit of too much about him, but he also knows a lot about me as well. So I might get too personal, so we just don't do it. Yeah.
I wish this was like a talk show right now where I could be like, "One, look who we have here right now."
Yeah.
Oh man. So the 2 songs that you did today, I'd kind of like you to just talk a little bit about each one. You know, like what it's about, or like what inspired it, or just anything that's, you know, important to you about those two songs?
Well, you know, first, I before we go into it, I do want to say I really appreciate the opportunity, you know, you bringing me onto the platform, and giving me a platform, you know, to pretty much present these new singles from my next album, which is Don't Be a Rapper. So the first one that I did is called Live Your Life. It's basically a song that I was writing just, you know, and this thing called music, you know, when you're pursuing a career in it, you deal with a lot of criticism. You deal with a lot of people telling you which way to go. You deal with a lot of people telling you to stop doing it. Even if you already are stable in your normal life, there's people telling you not to do it. And it just, you know, I was moved whenever I heard the beat. Shout out to my producer, Frenchie, a.k.a. Big French from New York. He sent me the beat with the sample already on it, Live Your Life. And, man, it just really inspired me to write about following my own path, my own destiny. You know, something I'm really big on is I have 2 children, and I'm really big on, you know, them doing the same thing. So I can't be, you know, a person that wants them to do it and I don't do it myself.
Right.
You know, so that's the first song. The second song is called Still Jazzy. That's dedicated to my wife. My first album since graduation, there's a song on there called Jazzy. So it's pretty much the sequel to that. And, you know, just giving her a shout out just for being my wife and a mother and my rib and someone that's a major supporter of mine and someone that, you know, keeps me pushing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, as I said earlier, I had gone and watched like some interviews that you had done in the past. And I remember you saying in one particular interview about growing up, you had said that you were just kind of trying to stay out of the way and do your own thing when it came to, you know, like being in school and stuff like that. And I just found that really kind of inspiring. Like, where did you get that, I don't know, impetus to try and maybe not follow the crowd, or, you know, just to stay focused on what you wanted to do and like how you wanted to live your life?
My grandfather, man, I mean, you know, I've had a lot of really good male role models in my life, you know, to really help shape and shift what I was going to be and where I was going to go. But I would have to say my grandfather is very big on being your own man, you know, and not being a follower, being an absolute leader. So when I say, I believe, I know what interview you're talking about, I believe. When I say, you know, I like to stay out of the way, is some things just aren't worth it, man. You know what I mean? And you realize at a young age when you see your friends getting in trouble, you know, doing things that maybe some of them had to do it, you know. Some of them didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
You kind of got to watch how those things play out and pick your own lane and walk your own path. You know what I mean? And that, like I said, my grandfather really was instrumental on giving me that mindset to be able to go whatever way I wanted to go as a man. I didn't have to follow anyone, you know.
And it's so tough, like with, you know, I mean, I think we all face that to different degrees. Like your friends or the people you're around are doing something, and, you know, sometimes it's just easy to hop on the bandwagon and, you know, just follow what they do. And
you can't fall into those traps, man. I mean, it's not good. I mean, nothing good usually comes out of those things. I mean, unless you have good influences, then of course follow those influences, you know. But nah, man, you can't just jump on it. Even what I do with music, it's not the most popular thing right now. You know what I mean? Being an MC, it's not that popular. People want you to just be a rapper.
Well, and what's the difference? I wanted to ask about that. Like, how do you define those two things?
A rapper is somebody that just does it just for money, man. I mean, it's all a show to them.
Okay.
You know, the cars they drive, the you know, the all the theatrics involved with it and making money. You know, we like to say, well, I'll get back to that. An MC is someone that's skilled in the art form, someone that can deliver a message, you know, potently to a crowd of people, you know, in a way that they still understand and speak about the culture of hip-hop, you know, and not just play the music industry and chase the glamour and the glitz. It's actually a culture. An MC is able to articulate himself in a way that everyone can understand, you know, and still rhyme about the topic of what's going on in today's society, you know, things around us. So, yeah, I'm an MC, you know.
It sounds like it's more about, you know, like making a change, trying to help affect some kind of change rather than trying to like get the money and like it seems about image versus like substance. Really.
Yeah, that's the basis of hip hop, man. I mean, hip hop is a culture, and hip hop did start because there were a group of people that did want to change. You know, it was started from, you know, having nothing, coming from nothing, and somewhere along the lines we lost our way, you know, and it just became about being a rapper, which is why my next album is called Don't Be a Rapper, and I'm pushing that right now. You know, be an MC, be a father, be a husband.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be true to what it is that, you know, we started this with, and that's the culture of hip hop and uplifting. You know,
is that so? That's kind of the theme of the next album.
Yeah, that's for sure the theme of the next album.
That's cool.
You know, Don't Be a Rapper is touching on everything that we go through as MCs and as rappers.
Yeah.
You know, all the ups and all the downs.
Yeah. This question's a little out of left field, but are you a fan of Def Leppard?
You talking about the hoodie that I got?
Yeah, because I kept seeing it in some shots. Listen, I was like, Def Leppard, really?
Listen, I absolutely love that hoodie.
Is that right?
I am not too familiar with the music.
Okay.
I love the hoodie. You know, I actually don't like getting asked those questions simply because I always want to be at least know. My father always tells me, you got to at least know something if you're going to wear it. I don't know anything. So now I'm ashamed. Yeah, now
it's
I feel
okay.
terrible.
I mean, probably a lot of younger, I don't know, probably the younger generation probably may not even know what Def Leppard is. I mean, I grew up at a time when Def Leppard was fairly big, so I'm familiar. My sister had one of their albums, but I was just like, oh, that's interesting. He's into Def Leppard.
Man, I love the hoodie.
It's a cool logo, isn't it?
It's a good talking piece. Ooh, I'm sorry.
That's okay,
it's a good talking piece. You know, you got us talking about it right now.
Right.
The logo's nice.
Is there any music that's surprising that you listen to that people might not expect aside from Def Leppard?
Oh man, I don't know everyone's names, but yeah, I've formed this love for country music over like the last year. I don't know where it came from.
Interesting.
But I do love country music. I can't name any other artists or anything like that. And since I was a kid, I think this started with wrestling. I love some hard rock. You know, there's definitely some hard rock that I will listen to. Those are probably the only two that people would probably be a little bit surprised. My wife wouldn't be surprised. She knows. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because like country music and rap, hip hop, there's been over the past 5 to 8 years, they've been there's been crossovers.
Right now, there's a huge push with hip hop artists doing or R&B artists doing country music. I'm not going to take a stab at it. I mean, it goes back to as far as Nelly. I think Nelly was doing some country.
Yes, yeah, I
in
don't
the early
remember.
2000s. Yeah, he did some country in the early 2000s.
Okay.
But you know, I don't know the country came from left field. I have no idea where that came from. But like I said, like some Slipknot songs.
Yeah.
I don't know who sings "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor."
Oh man, Jeremy, do you know who that is? Let the bodies hit the floor. But yeah, it's a good song.
Man, it's a good song.
That's one of those songs that has staying power because it keeps getting used in like.
Wrestling has made that song. It took it. I mean, it did both. You know, wrestling helped that song. That song helped wrestling.
Right.
Since I was a kid, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I play that right now. I could play that before a show just to get my blood pumping.
Yeah.
Just to.
So you were born in like 92?
93.
93.
Yep,
Okay.
93,
Okay.
yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, I was just about to go somewhere and I forget. How old were you when you really started, putting effort into music, like trying to make it a thing?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
5 years ago now.
Okay.
I've always been an artist or a rapper or MC. Like I said, since I was 12. Well, I wasn't one then. At 12, I was trying to be one. But actually trying to get into the music industry, trying to get heard, pushing music, doing, a gang of shows. That probably is that's like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Actually giving a shot. I think my first album was since graduation. I believe it dropped in 2019.
Okay.
And that was the start of it, And got my start with Z Rich and Hive Life and, my brother Derek from the Green Room Studios. Shout out to him as well. And we've been running ever since. We haven't stopped since, And that doesn't sound like a long span of time that you hear other artists. But in our 4 or 5 year run, we've done some pretty amazing things.
Yeah. Well, I saw in another interview that, going into the studio for you is it's work, it's business, it's get things done, and it's not screw around and hang around for a long time.
Yeah, no.
So it's like you're there to work, which is
I like to do 3-hour sessions, man. Yeah. I see guys, no offense to none of them. Guys go in the studio and they want to drink and smoke and women, and it's a whole party, man. Nah, I'm in and out of there. I want to go to the studio at 7, 8 in the morning, get out of there by 11, 12, 1 o'clock, and going about my business, man. Yeah,
that's really cool. What are the biggest challenges to trying to, promote your music? Do you do most of the promotion online? Are you performing? Like, what's promotion for you for your music?
I guess in today's day and age, man, it's got to be a mix of everything. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to. You have to come up with. You always got to be ahead of the curve and just come up with new tactics. But I guess the bulk of it is online. Last year we tried to step out of the box. I believe I made hip hop history, maybe even history with all music in the world. I guess I dropped 66 freestyle videos. I'll just say hip hop in 1 year. 66 freestyle videos. We should have hit up Guinness Book of World Records. I got to get on my team about that. But yeah, just something like that, just for marketing and promotion. They were just freestyles over industry beats. But you got to do things like that to get ahead of the curve and get out there in front of people as much as you can. If you're dropping consistently every week, you can either give yourself one shot a week, to make something happen, or you can give yourself multiple every week. Now it goes from one shot to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chances a week, for something to stick.
Yeah. Are there opportunities to perform live much? Did you get to do that aside from like the like freestyling or anything like that online? Yeah, I've been a part of some pretty big shows here in Harrisburg. Right now we only got, I believe, 2 venues, but there's a third one on the way. Shout out to Skip. He's actually a man named Skip. He's creating a platform currently. I don't want to speak too much about it, but it'll be here. But yeah, Club XL provides opportunities for local artists. HMAC, shout out to both of those venues, man. They're really instrumental in helping us young artists kind of, brush shoulders with the guys that have been in the game. Like last year, I believe we did, I did EPMD show. I believe Brand Nubian came here last year. But yeah, there's opportunities. I don't think I performed at HMAC last year, but Club XL, yeah, and a few things out of state. I did some shows down in Lancaster for Benny the Butcher and things like that. Yeah. What kind of things would you say your dad was he able to pass on, pieces of knowledge or tips or like anything that kind of stuck with you?
Oh man, I went through boot camp.
Yeah?
To become an MC. A lot of guys don't get that.
What do you mean?
Boot camp, growing up with my dad. So let's say in the year, I don't know, let's just say 2008. I think Lil Wayne was on fire in 2008. I knew nothing about Lil Wayne. I was in 96, 1996, listening to whatever came out that year. You know what I mean? And that was boot camp for him. And those lessons stick with me to this day. He's always taught me you cannot be the greatest at something until you go back and study where it started from, where it came from, what the true meaning of it is, and who the pioneers are. So that was boot camp for him. And he used to do something when I was young. I would come to him and I would say, man, I got something good. I got something real hot. It's nice. And I would rap for him, and he would say, let's put that one back in the oven. So sometimes now, when I'm writing something, I may sit on it for a couple of days and think about it, and I'll say, yeah, let's put that back in the oven. Yeah, let's put that back in the oven.
So sort of be patient, like wait on things.
You gotta be patient. You gotta go back and study the greats, and you have to be patient and don't ever force it. So yeah, he's taught me a lot of things that stick with me to this day on how I create. Yep.
Yeah. What are some of the things you feel that make what you're doing different from other people right now?
Like I said earlier, man, I'm keeping the true art form of being an MC alive. So many people just find it so easy and just, taking the easy route and doing whatever is popular. Like I just said, there's an influx of country music going on right now, blending with hip hop, and because Beyonce's doing it, that's the thing that we all run and do now.
Right.
I'm just not with following the crowd, man. You got to forge your own destiny and take your own path. So just me, coming in here and performing these 2 songs a day was stand alone. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people that will come in here today and do everything that you just heard on the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no form of creativity.
Yeah.
And not a shot at all of them, man. There's also a lot of great musicians and artists out here still. Yeah.
So I got to ask about the freestyling again. I said I watched you in a video for 5 straight minutes.
Yeah.
And how do you? I'm just kind of blown away by it. Like, I don't even know. Can you even tell me like how one would start to be able to do that? Because it seems to me you must have a lot of, first of all, a lot of like a vocabulary, a lot of like words that you're holding in your brain that you can jump to like on a moment's notice, and also formulate a sentence with that word in it. Like, it blows my mind.
Well, I'll tell you this. God didn't bless me with math skills. So he had
language skills?
Language skills. He had to give me something. And he made me really good at the art of English and the art of language. So, there's some tricks to it. I mean, you'll get a lot of people that won't tell you the truth. They'll say that they actually freestyle. Freestyling and writtens are different. A freestyle is actually if I'm going off the top of my head, rapping about your sneakers, your shirt, what's going on here in this room, and what we did today. And a written is something that was practiced and repeated to make sure that you got it locked down. But something that I like to do is in order to get the freestyle to go for 5-10 minutes long, you got to break it down into 16s, and you just pull from in your mind that various work that you've done or you've wrote over the past X amount of months or years. And sometimes when it's on the spot like that, sometimes it does get tough. It gets difficult, so you sometimes you stumble. But for the most part, I mean, I don't know, it's just there.
How does that feel? Because I was watching you and I'm thinking, man, when you're in the moment, in the middle of it, I mean, you must be firing on all cylinders mentally. I mean, that must be one of the most stressful things to do, I would imagine. Like, difficult.
Once it starts flowing, it's flowing. I mean,
okay.
You got to figure, I mean, it is very difficult. I rap, I'm a technician type of a rapper. I'm not a punchline rapper. Sometimes it's maybe, I'm not going to say easier for someone that is more of a punchline rapper, simply because
I think I know what you mean by that, but could you explain that a little more?
A punchline rapper works on a 4 count. I mean, we all work on 4 counts or whatever, but sometimes I rap double time, which is double entendres, triple entendres, or 4 syllables and things along that line. So I like to call rappers like Nas or myself. I'm not saying I'm Nas, but I'm just saying we're more so like technicians. Or Jadakiss would work on a 4 like dun 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 dun, and it's like that, and he'll have that pause there. But sometimes for a technician, you're working on a dun 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 dun, and it's not flowing just 1 2 3 4.
Right.
So sometimes you can get kind of lost in that, and then you also got your hand movements, you got your flow breaking down, and you're also still trying to control your breathing. All the while you got all these people sitting here staring at you while you're going. Sometimes you can get into your mind about it, and you'll see some people mess up, but like I told you earlier, I went through boot camp, so you got to get right back on,
Because I mean, you looked like, I mean, it was a 3 camera shoot, I think, too, and you were making sure to like even speak to each camera, and I was that's just incredible.
You got to rap with intensity, man, and you got to make sure you hit every angle. Like I told you, this is my good side earlier,
So I mean, I'm just fascinated by like having the vocabulary. I mean, I guess it's from having listened to a lot of different music, listened to a lot of other people's lyrics, and that probably all sort of just becomes, you sort of absorb it, and then it's there for you to able to like resynthesize it and sort of not regurgitate it. You're making it your own, but it just, it almost reminds me of like someone who is really reads a lot of books, gets a big vocabulary. It's like, I imagine you must have to listen a lot.
Well, I mean, it comes from listening, of course. I've also always been inquisitive. So, when I was young, if I heard a word being used, I want to know what it means or how to properly use it. And my mom, I mean, she's always been very big on, learning about my history and making sure that I am able to, express myself properly, in a proper manner in all settings. And, just coming from that and getting those lessons and, thinking about her, I was able to come up with a pretty nice vocab to, be able to get my point across. And whether that's hip hop or me and you sitting here talking now, I'm able to, speak properly. So, yeah, shout out to my mom. I love you.
That's awesome. Yeah. How did you have 2 kids?
Yeah, I got 2 kids, yep.
How did having your first kid sort of change your perspective on your life? Like what responsibility you felt like you had and like what you had to do with your life? Like what kind of things, how did that really change your perspective on things?
My daughter was more so a shot to wake up and get more. You know what I mean? And realizing that what I was doing in that moment, or what my she wasn't my wife then, but what my girlfriend was doing in that moment wasn't going to cut it. It's not just me and her. There's a child involved.
All right.
And she pretty much taught me how to get up and go get it and be responsible and hold myself accountable for my actions at all times. My son, when he was born, he kind of brought the music side out of me, because I looked at him like there's no way God could bless me with a talent and I not pursue it to provide these children and my wife with everything that I could offer them. So not only did I learn from my daughter to grow up, basically, and stop doing the things that I was doing, then I also got from my son another boost of, well, you also got all this stuff over here. My daughter, she helped me find a career path that I still do, that I was able to take to the highest level. My son brought in another career path, which was music, to pursue both of them, And my wife is just the backbone to all of that.
Yeah, that's really cool. If you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to, but in the one interview you talked about having kind of near-death experience.
Yeah, I'm a diabetic. I'm a type 2 diabetic, and at 28, I found myself calling off from work. Actually, I mean, I talked about it in a few records. I did, my biggest song is with Dark Low, out of Philadelphia. I believe the videos has up to like 100,000 views on YouTube. Probably past that in overall. I mean, regardless, I shot the video with Dark Low down in Philly. We came back home, and I wasn't feeling good. I had just got the COVID vaccination, I believe like a week prior. I wasn't feeling good, and I called off of work a week, and I just was laying around, you know what I mean? And I couldn't get any energy to get up and do anything. And my wife finally just said, that's it, you need to go to the hospital. And when I went down to the hospital, and the first thing the doctor did, they checked my blood, and he said, "Can you walk?" I said, "Yeah, I can walk." I got up and almost fell down. You know what I mean? And I was like, and that's when it kind of hit me, I guess, like, oh, the situation might be a little bit serious.
Yeah.
And that's when I was told I am diabetic. And I was in a thing called ketoacidosis, where your blood is starting to turn into acid, just because your sugar levels are not in control. And found myself laying there, and he let me know, if you wouldn't have came in here, you probably wouldn't be here, And went through that, and I got out of the hospital, and everything was up after that. We dropped a Dark Low video, took a week, and it was nothing but God, because like I said, the video, I think the first week had 72,000 views on it. So we were off to the races after that. So I guess that was kind of like an eye-opening experience.
Yeah. So you had both your kids at the time that happened? Mm-hmm. Okay. I was just trying to have the timeline in my head. How old are they now?
My son is 4, about to be 5 here, and my daughter is 7, about to be 8.
That's awesome. Very cool.
I had to think about that. The missus get on you. You messed that up.
Dude, I have to think about my own age anymore. I don't remember that anymore. Yeah. So tell me about the trucking company. You own that?
Yeah, yep.
Nice.
I own my own trucking company. This is actually right after I got out of the hospital as well.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
like I said, my life did a complete, what was that, 180? I mean, everything I knew, there's no more sitting around. I'm not waiting on anything or anyone. When I got out of the hospital, so we dropped the video goes up, does a bunch of views. I'm talking to my uncle, and he's like, yo, we can't wait on anything anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You just got to go for it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, me, my uncle, who's Derek, D. Driz is what we call him, and my other uncle, Emilio, we kind of all just went for it together. And we all started up our own trucking companies. And I took out a $10,000 loan, man, and scared. I was scared, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay the loan back. I didn't know if I was going to be able to even get the truck. And what I always tell young people is, man, or people that's not even just young people, just anybody that wants to do anything in life, just don't give up. And I've been an owner-operator for, it'll be 3 months in October. 3 years in October of this year.
That's awesome.
And we're at, I'm looking to scale up now. I'm looking at purchasing new trucks. So anybody got the CDL and looking to get a new job, hey, man, I'll be on the market here looking for guys. So,
nice. So how long... what kind of distances are you traveling with that?
Oh, I'm a local guy. I'm going home. Yeah, okay. I got to go home, man.
I was going to ask, like, what you were listening to. Like, well, what are you listening to when you're driving around?
It's weird. I really just write in my truck as I drive. I mean, well, in my mind, like I put on instrumentals and I'll just ride. And everything that I have wrote the last 4 years of my life has been wrote in a truck.
Do you record, like, do you put like a phone on record or anything?
No, I can't do that. I do know some producers that do produce in their truck, like on their downtime.
I was going to say, you could just set the phone and record and like play something on the stereo and just, kind of.
Yeah, no, I'll write that way. I won't record anything, but I'll just let the music play in the stereo and I'll write it in my mind. And when I get to a stop, I'll type it into my phone or
just write it down.
Yep.
That's really, because I was thinking if you had like long haul, like that would be a ton of writing time. Like you'd be the most prolific.
Too much writing time. I need some home time.
I used to think I would enjoy that kind of job because I would always go for like long drives. Just really enjoyed it. But as I get older, I don't know that I would handle that kind of those long driving hours anymore.
Nah, I can't. Nope, not long haul. I got to go home.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. What's your favorite smartphone app?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I guess Google Maps, because that's what gets me paid.
That's a great answer.
I need the Google Maps. But
I like that. What are you into outside of music? I mean, I know right now you got a family, so that probably takes up a lot of your time. But like, just in general, like other interests that you have or hobbies you had, like when you were younger.
I used to be really big into sports. I was a sports guy when I was younger. Clearly, I'm not now. But, I was real big into sports. But now, man, I'm just so focused on my family. And, just whatever I can do to make their lives easier or better or funner, that's pretty much what I'm into right now.
Yeah.
Just doing things with the kids. And I had to take a little break here from music the last 2 months just while I was creating the album to just focus on, what my family needs but giving the kids the attention that they deserve. You know what I mean? They're just babies. You know what I mean? And they just want to be loved. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. And, we like to, I've said it in an interview before, we're real big on Sunday dinner, man. My whole family likes to get together every Sunday. So that's pretty much what we're doing. That probably sounds boring as hell.
I think it sounds awesome. That's kind of what it's all about.
It's exciting to me, man. I mean, I like the boring life. Sometimes I sit and I think about what was going on before and,
just having some predictability and stability can be really nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Don't be a rapper. Man, there it is. That's it.
Do you have any other local businesses that you really like?
High Off Life. Shout out to High Off Life.
And tell me what that is exactly.
High Off Life, man. It is an entertainment company. A marketing company, I should say. Sorry about that. A marketing company. Basically, they just find up and coming talent or the legends in hip hop and give them a platform to freestyle. Z Rich owns it. That's my brother. Me and him, he's been with me since I started back in the music back in 2019. And he's just been growing and grinding since. He's down in Atlanta. He also set up shop here in Harrisburg. Shout out to the Music Man. We do a lot of business with Music Man. Green Room Studios, I talked about my brother Derek. Those are all people that are in music.
You know, I don't think I actually asked who some of your favorite and like influential musicians are. Like,
Okay.
just some of the people that have been really, I would say, I'd like to know some of the people that were really like in your formative years, you know, like 12, 13, 14, stuff like that, like who were you really into, and also who you think is really interesting right now.
Yeah, okay. Well, like I said, around 12, 13, I was in boot camp with my dad, music-wise, so...
you said it was like 96 or something like that?
No, it was just hip-hop history.
Okay,
It was just like, basically, I was a 12-year-old that was going to regular school, and I had school at home when it came to hip-hop to learn the art, you know, and... So no, basically 12 or 13, I got the big three, and it's been there ever since. So it goes Nas for his first album, Illmatic, the second greatest album of all time. Ice Cube for creating the greatest album of all time, which is Death Certificate, and then 50 Cent, who was actually... I think 50 Cent did come out when I was in, the 6th grade. So yeah, like around that same time, I think.
He was like 90...
Oh yeah. I mean, he was no. 50 Cent is. I think 50 Cent is the early 2000s. 50 Cent was bubbling. 2000s? Yeah, he was bubbling on the underground in the 90s, but he wasn't. I think 99. He was just starting to come out, but I think he dropped Power of a Dollar in like 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, but 50 Cent. My dad did not approve of 50 Cent, but there was no stopping it. I mean, he took over the world. Yeah. So those three, and, you know, I got a reason for all of them. I mean, Nas, like I said, me and Nas are technicians. You know, the way he writes, the way he puts his flows and his patterns together. Ice Cube for storytelling and aggression. 50 Cent because he's melodic. You know what I mean? Those three has always influenced me the most.
Yeah. You know? We've both been bumping our mics here. That's all right.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's all right. Are you a video game player?
Of course.
What kind of stuff? What are some of your favorite games from the past and now?
You know, I'm the worst type of video game player. You know, my cousin Frank, he makes fun of me a lot. I don't finish any games, man, and I try my hardest. I don't finish them, but right now I'm really stuck on NBA 2K and Madden. But like I love games like Ghost of Tsushima, Heavenly Sword. You know, the Red Dead series. My favorite games of all time is Uncharted.
Okay, I never played.
You never played Uncharted? No. Oh man, oh my goodness! You're not an Xbox guy, are you?
No, I fell out of video games like back in the early 2000s, so I haven't actively played since Nintendo 64. Really?
Ah, okay.
So,
well, I just bought my kids a Switch, so I'm getting them hip to like Mario
that's awesome.
and all that. They don't have James Bond for the Switch though. I don't think they have 007. I'm not sure.
Is James Bond even a game anymore? Do they?
Well, I would think that they would have the classic 007 for a Nintendo game, but I don't think that they do. So I don't know how that works. But you know, I'm trying to get back. But I'm not. I am a video game guy, but it's more so in my spare time, if I have any spare time. But I'm not like glued to the TV or anything like that.
Okay. So it's not like your like go-to thing for hours a night or something.
Oh no, that's impossible. Man, that's impossible.
Yeah. What was the first live show you ever went to?
Man, a lot of people, every time I say it, they like don't believe me. My wife took me to go see Benny the Butcher, who's pretty new. I mean, he just came out like 2015 or 16 in Philly for my birthday. I think that might have been like 3 years ago. It was my first live like hip hop show I've ever been to.
Really? That recently?
Yeah. I mean, before then, I look at these guys as like competition. So I don't care to see them perform. But I had to remove that's the boot camp in me. Like, I don't care to see you perform. I had to remove that and just enjoy the time that I have here to, you know, and embrace one of my favorite artists live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like 3 years ago was my first show I've ever like been to.
That's interesting.
Hip hop wise, other than like stuff at like the school,
right.
Bring like a local guy or something like that.
I thought you were gonna say like Def Leppard was your first show or something. That you went to.
Nah.